Okay, guys, so today we're going to be talking about how to use the distributive property in an equation. So the distributive property is going to apply to equations just like it does for expressions. So we're going to review really quick how we use the distributive property in expressions. So here I have 4 times 2x plus 9. So what I'm going to do is distribute that 4 to both terms inside the parentheses, okay? So that means I'm going to take 4 times 2x and 4 times 9. And when I take 4 times 2x, I get 8x. And when I take 4 times 9, I get 36. And those are both positive numbers, so my simplified expression is going to be 8x plus 36. Now over here, I have negative 3 times 7 minus 4x. So I'm going to do the same thing and distribute that negative 3 to both terms inside the parentheses. So I'm going to take negative 3 times 7. And then I'm also going to take negative 3 times negative 4x. So negative 3 times 7 is going to give me a negative 21. And negative 3 times negative 4x is going to give me a positive 12x. Because remember, a negative times a negative is a positive. So this is going to give me 12x minus 21. Okay, so now we're going to combine distributing with solving a two-step equation. So this is nothing that you guys don't know how to do already. It's just kind of putting some things together, okay, into what looks like a more complicated problem, but I promise it's just as easy as what we've been doing. So I'm going to distribute my 4 to both terms in the parentheses, and I'm going to have 4 times 5x, which equals 20. Oh, sorry. And then I'm going to do 4 times 6. So 4 times 5x is going to give me 20x, and 4 times 6 is going to give me 24. And so I'm going to end up with 20x plus 24 equals 12. So just like we normally do, I'm going to add or subtract my constant first, which is 24. And I'm going to subtract that from both sides so I can undo that addition, okay? So I'm going to subtract 24 from both sides, and I'm going to have 20x is equal to negative 12. Then I'm going to do my second step, which is to divide by my coefficient, which is 20. So I'm going to divide both sides by 20, and that is going to give me x equals negative 12 over 20. So feel free to leave these as a fraction. That's totally fine. But I'm going to simplify this to x equals negative 3 over 5. And the way I figured that out was to divide both of those by 5, my numerator and my denominator. Not by 5, by 4, sorry. So dividing 12 by 4 gives me 3, and dividing 20 by 4 gives me 5. So to check my answer, I am going to plug in what I just found for x, and I'm going to solve it and see if I get 12 as my answer. So I'm going to do 4 times 5 times negative 3/5 plus 6. And I'm going to see if that gives me 12 as my answer. So when I do 5 times negative 3/5, that gives me negative 3. And so I've got 4 times negative 3 plus 6. That's going to end up giving me 4 times 3, which we all know is 12. And guys, I want you to be really clear on the fact that you can use a calculator for these two-step equations, okay? So if the fractions and stuff bother you, just go ahead and double check your work on a calculator. I don't want you to have to do all of this by hand and spend hours on it. So feel free to use a calculator now, okay? We already did all the integer stuff, which was no calculator, so now you can use one if you need to. So here I'm going to distribute a 6 to everything inside my parentheses, just like normal. And I'm going to do 6 times x. And then I'm going to do 6 times a -5. So this is going to give me 6x. I'm going to have a technical difficulty here for a second. So this is going to give me 6x and -30, which ultimately is going to give me 6x minus 30 equals 18. So I'm going to add 30 to both sides to undo that subtraction. So I'm going to add my constant to both sides since I'm subtracting in my equation. And those 30s are going to cancel out, leaving me with 6x is equal to 48. And then I'm going to divide by my coefficient just like normal. So I'm going to divide both sides by 6. And that is going to give me x on the side because those 6's cancel out. And that is going to give me x is equal to 8. So now let's check and see if we get the same answer, okay? So I'm going to plug in 8 for x. So I'm going to have 6 times 8 minus 5, which is going to give me 6 times 3. And that does equal 18. And since my answers match, my answer is correct. Okay, so if those answers match, then you did the math right. Okay, that's just a quick way you can check yourself and know if you are doing the math right. So here I'm going to distribute my -3 to my 2x by doing -3 times 2x. And then I'm going to distribute my -3 to my -4. So -3 times 2x is going to give me a -6x. And -3 times -4 is going to give me 12. So I've got -6x plus 12 equals 18. So to get rid of the 12, since it's being added on the left side, I am going to undo that addition with subtraction, and I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. I'm going to then cancel out my 12s, and I'm going to be left with -6x equals 6. I'm going to divide by my coefficient, which is -6, and I'm going to do that on both sides. And that is going to end up giving me x equals -1. So let's plug in -1 for x and check our work. So I've got -3 times 2 times -1 minus 4, which is going to give me -3 times -2 minus 4, which gives me -3 times -6, which gives me a positive 18. So my answers match, which means I did the math correctly, okay? So the checking your answer, guys, that's not going to be something that I regularly make you do, but it can help you when you take your ACT or things like that to just check your answer real quick and make sure you're right. So we're going to do 3 more example problems, and then we are going to call it a day, okay? So as always, I'm going to distribute what's outside the parentheses to what is inside. And really quick, I just want to make a note that if you have parentheses, the first thing you need to look to do every single time is distribute, okay? So 2 times 3x is going to give me 6x, and 2 times -2 is going to give me a -4. So I have 26 equals 6x minus 4. So to get rid of that minus 4, I'm going to add 4 to both sides to undo that subtraction. And that is going to give me a 6x on the right because my 4's will cancel out. And 6x is going to actually be equal to 30. So I am going to divide by my coefficient. And that is going to give me 5 equals x. Okay? And that's how you know you're done. Once you have one number on one side and then one variable on the other, then you're finished, okay? So here I'm going to distribute the 5 to my 4, which gives me 20. And then I'm going to distribute the 5 to my negative 2x, which equals negative 10x. So I have 20 minus 10x is equal to negative 14. I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides because it's a positive 20 on the left, and I need to do the opposite. So positive 20 and negative 20 cancel each other out. So I have negative 10x equals negative 34. I'm going to divide by my coefficient, which is negative 10. And that is going to give me x is equal to 34 over 10 as a fraction. And it's positive, guys, because negative 34 divided by negative 10 will give us a positive answer. And I'm just going to simplify that improper fraction to 17 over 5. Feel free to leave your answers as improper fractions. That is totally okay. Okay? So now we're going to do number 10. And it says Teresa is 6 years older than Nicole. In 4 years, the sum of their ages will be 66. Find Teresa's present age. So what we know is that Teresa's age is equal to 6 plus Nicole's age. So that means every time we need Teresa's age, we're going to write it as 6 plus n. Okay? We also know that in 4 years, their ages are going to add together to be 66. So t plus n will be 66. Oh, Lord. So what I need to know is how old is Teresa now? So our plan and work down here, I know that t plus n equals 66, and I know that t equals 6 plus n. So what I'm going to do is everywhere that I have a t, I'm going to swap out that t for 6 plus n. So I know that 6 plus n is going to equal 66 at some point. So 6 plus 2n equals 66. So I'm going to go ahead and just solve this like a normal two-step equation. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides so I can get those to cancel out. So I'm going to be left with 2n equals 60. And then I'm going to divide by my coefficient, which is 2. And I'm going to be left with n equals 30. So, but keep in mind, this is 4 years in the future, okay? So I know that when Nicole is 30, Teresa is going to be 6 years older than that because t equals n plus 6. So Teresa right now is going to be 30 plus 6 years old, which is 36. So in 4 years, Teresa will be 36. So what I'm going to do is just subtract 4 from 36. Okay, so it's just really important that you're keeping that timeline straight while you're doing this problem. So I know that I'm going to go ahead and take those 4 years away because I'm looking for how old she is right now. And that's going to tell me that she is 32. So Teresa is currently 32 years old. Okay. All right, guys, that is our video for the week. As always, reach out to me if you have any questions, and I will see you guys later this week. Thanks.